Hey, this is the C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is Dave, and this is MMA for you. This is a UFC 119 Mir versus Crow Cup post-fight analysis. If you want to leave any comments with us, just leave any comments below, or go to email us at thecndchannel@gmail.com, and also check out the C&D channel website. There's a lot of great new articles and whatnot on there. Let's get right to this, actually. Some overall thoughts that I took away from UFC 119. I'm going to start with something that the UFC really needs to do, and they know this. It's establishing more people as pay-per-view draws and main eventers. You have Frank Mir, who's been in the company for years. I mean, he's been there since UFC 50s or something. He's been there for a long time. Crow Cup's 36. He's been fighting for a long time. Even before this fight was supposed to happen, it was Nogueira that was supposed to fight there. Rodrigo Nogueira. And it just kind of goes to show, like, well, how come you're using the veterans to main event? The UFC has a majority percentage of the top 10 and top 5 fighters in the world in the respective divisions. Why aren't more of these guys main eventing? You know what I mean? You gotta put part of it goes on the fighter, obviously. They gotta promote themselves. A John Fitch, number 2 welterweight in the world, is not gonna sell pay-per-views. It is what it is. Now, this also stands reason also, should he also take a lot of risk too? Hey, John Jones. This guy's red hot right now, and he's very popular. Are people willing to put money on this guy? Maybe, maybe not. Should the UFC put the risk out there and put him in the main event? I don't know if it can be that much worse than Frank Mir versus Crow Cup. To be perfectly honest, as far as making money, that's the thing. It really shows that, like, well, how do you make a pay-per-view draw if the person has never won the title, isn't a former champion, or doesn't have the title to begin with? And so that's one thing I really hope the UFC works on. They are working on. Obviously, they pushed Bader in the co-main event for a reason. John Jones is main eventing for a reason on these smaller shows. I get the strategy they're doing. I do get it. The only problem is, this show really shows that, hey, look, there's a reason why they keep getting Rich Franklin to do a main event. It's like they have no one else. Well, it's Rich Franklin. To be perfectly honest, Thiago Silva's pretty much as good as Rich Franklin, and arguably, I'm not saying he is. I think he is, but it's like, well, you have these fighters that are just as good as Rich Franklin. Why aren't they main eventing? Bader could arguably beat Rich Franklin. With Frank Mir, Gino Dos Santos, Cain Velasquez, Shane Carwin did it. A lot of people can beat Frank Mir. Why is Frank Mir main eventing? You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys that are equally as good, or could be as good as the current main eventers. Now, Pat Barry almost beat Crow Cup in the first round of their fight. Crow Cup's main eventing. It's just one of those things where it's like, how do you balance this? And I'd like to see how they do it. I don't have the answers right now. And you have anything to add to that, Dave?
Well, I think what they try to do is they try to have the brand name, which is Crow Cup and Medfria, to be there, and then they try to pick out other people, try to promote it. But like you said, a lot of people, for myself, that was an impressive fight. That show just not there, and I bet a lot of people look at that show and be like, why am I buying this? So I agree with you in all level.
Yeah. It's really starting to show too. Vanderlei keeps main eventing, or co-main eventing at least. Rich Franklin. And it's like, there's guys better than them, Michael Bisping keeps main eventing these free cards. It's Bisping, Akiyama. well, you know, Bisping's like a mid-tier guy. I mean, yeah, he sells himself pretty well, but it's just, I gotta wonder if it's I think it's a combination. That my personal solution is, besides folding the bantamweight and featherweight divisions from the WEC to the UFC, so you had more titles and whatnot, and potentially more main events. I think they got to take some risk. Like, really, I do. I know Mark Hort's not a sell. You know, put someone in the main event, or put other people in the co-main event. I don't. It's hard to say because they kind of do it too. You know, it's like Bader. He's in the co-main event. There's a reason he's in the co-main event. They want to push the guy. You know, but yeah, it's a really hard. It's a really hard juggling process. Obviously, I'm not. You know, there's no simple answer. Obviously, a lot of it goes to the UFC, and a lot of it goes to the fighter as well.
Absolutely.
The other thought that came from this show, and it's really apparent this year in MMA, judging, man. Oh, God. Dunham, Shirk, woo! Glenn Trowbridge and Cecil Peoples should not judge. I mean, Cecil Peoples is pretty much the clown judge of MMA. I hate to rip on the guy. I don't know him personally, but it's just kind of like when a lot of MMA fans talk about bad judges, they think Cecil Peoples. When you start thinking bad refs, there's John Shorley. And there's just a lot of guys out there. It's like the sport's, it really, one thing that it kind of shows though, the sport's still young. And that's the thing. It's still young. You're still getting boxing judges here. You know, down the line, you'll probably get some legit MMA fighters who actually really know their stuff, who knows that a guillotine attempt and something as deep as that, yes, beats a takedown. It's offense versus, you know, versus, it is offense, you know. It's not takedowns, but you know, are also offense too, but so are submissions that are deep like that, you know. Leg kicks mean something, you know. I know some judges don't see leg kicks as anything. The judging thing's been a problem. I mean, it always is, but you know how it is. It's pretty much what the athletic commissions do. You know, if they need to explain themselves, one guy like Trowbridge or people can say, "Oh, Sean Shirk won round 1, and he controlled the pace of round 2." Okay, he's off the hook. He gave his explanation. He does. They definitely need a more severe way of putting these guys and putting more accountability to the judges. One thing that's really that I really don't like is the UFC's and Dana White's tagline of "Don't leave the fight in the hands of the judges." I really hate that. The reason why is you're now putting accountability in the hands of the fighter instead of the hands of the judges. I think it's dumb. It's like, well, Evan Dunham fought his butt off to beat Sean Shirk, you know. Oh, well, he left it to the judges. It's his fault. No, he beat him up bad. Sean Shirk managed to survive. The same thing happened with Jason Brills and Wajiro Nogueira. You know, it's like Jason Brills fought his butt off to beat Nogueira. Okay, it's not his fault that he took it to the judges. No, and it works against them because now it's kind of like the UFC can just be like, "Oh, it is what it is. Oh, well, we can't do anything about it. Therefore, you guys, you fighters, don't leave this stuff to the hands of the judges." I hate it. I think things will change in the future. It just goes to show how young the sport is, though. So, yeah.
Well, again, I agree with you. The Dana White saying don't leave to a judge, you basically not give any credibility, and even more, you're just saying don't listen to a judge. They're a piece of crap. Then why do you even have a judge? Second thing that really bothers me is, again, not try to troll anybody, is if you have a fight, the result and everybody in the audience are booing, how come the judge doesn't explain himself? You know, you have the surrounding, you have people who pay for this and they are not happy for what they see. On business world, they require explanation. What we see is, well, too bad good luck next time. You know, I mean, come on. I mean, seriously, it would have hurt all of a sudden. You know, Joe give to the judge. Can you explain why do you think like Shirk win his fight? You know, even though the Evan fight his butt up. Can you explain? Well, I think if they explain, everybody will be happier. You know, I really think the explanation is needed.
Oh yeah, for sure. Explanation would really help. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I think they'd give like some really lousy explanation. I think that this goes to a deeper issue too. You know, if they have to explain it, guess what? Aggression and octagon control are a part of like the judging criteria. You know, they can always go to that. Well, Sean Shirk pushed him against the cage. You know, he's showing aggression. He's showing control. You know, you can, and it really just goes to show that maybe a change in the judging system now is needed. You know, that's the thing. Yeah, go on.
Well, you think if we increase 2 more judge, will that help, or we, disclose the qualification for judge, will that help?
Adding more judges isn't going to do anything, to be perfectly honest. You just need qualified judges. Okay. I mean, honest, instead of adding 2 more, let's just remove, like, the 2 judges that gave it to Shirk and get 2 good judges. You know, it's that simple, really. I definitely think that the qualifications to be a judge is pretty ridiculous. I mean, it's a lot of red tape. You have to do this many to judge this many fights and whatnot. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, you know. It's very political, too, so it's really hard to do. For anyone of you out there that wants to be a judge or ref, please do it, man. You know, we can all... MMA, you'd be doing MMA, you'd be doing sport favor. You know, it'd be really good. That's the thing. I mean, I think as just time goes by, I mean, even basketball, refereeing still a problem in football, all sports, at least the refs are held accountable, at least.
Absolutely. So
at least if there's this idea that refs or the judges are held accountable, at least it brings some more peace of mind to people. So yeah, join us for part 2. So we get to the fights now, and yeah, just go to part 2. Thanks.